The strategies of Alexander the Great in Asia. When Alexander the Great crossed into Asia in 334 BCE, he faced a daunting task: to conquer the vast and powerful Persian Empire. It was a feat that required not only military might but also the ability to adapt, innovate, and inspire. Alexander's success lay as much in his strategic genius as in his courage on the battlefield. Here is a closer look at the key strategies he employed throughout his campaigns in Asia, turning the impossible into reality. Chapter 1. Setting the Foundation: Psychological Warfare. Alexander understood that his success would require more than physical victory. It required psychological dominance. From the outset, he established himself as an unbeatable force, both among his own men and in the eyes of his enemies. At the Battle of Granicus, Alexander's decision to lead a risky frontal assault, crossing the river directly into the Persian forces, stunned his foes. This bold move shattered Persian confidence, as they realized they faced a leader unafraid to confront them head-on. Throughout Asia Minor, Alexander strategically portrayed himself as a liberator of Greek cities under Persian rule. By positioning himself as a champion of Greek freedom, he rallied the support of Greek citizens in Asia and won the allegiance of local populations, securing the lands without needing to garrison them heavily. Chapter 2. Flexibility and Innovation at the Battle of Issus. Alexander's adaptability shone at Issus in 333 BCE, where he faced King Darius III for the first time. The Persian king had chosen the battlefield poorly, a narrow valley that restricted his army's movement. Recognizing the advantage, Alexander employed a flanking strategy that played to his smaller, more agile forces. Alexander placed his phalanx, a formation of heavily armed infantry soldiers, in the center with his companion cavalry on the right. He advanced carefully, waiting until Darius committed his forces. When the Persians moved, Alexander led his cavalry in a sweeping motion, targeting the Persian left flank and driving a wedge through the enemy lines. His personal charge toward Darius created a psychological ripple that led the Persian king to flee, leaving his army leaderless. This battle demonstrated Alexander's ability to exploit enemy weaknesses, choosing not brute force but precision and timing to dismantle a much larger army. Chapter 3. Siegecraft and Persistence at Tyre. One of Alexander's most challenging conquests came in 332 BCE at the fortified island city of Tyre. This Phoenician city was a strategic stronghold with formidable walls and a powerful navy, situated half a mile off the coast. When Tyre refused to surrender, Alexander employed a brilliant combination of siegecraft, engineering, and psychological tactics. Alexander ordered his engineers to construct a causeway from the mainland to the island, allowing his troops to breach Tyre's defenses. Tyre's defenders set the causeway ablaze multiple times, but Alexander, undeterred, rebuilt it each time, strengthening the structure after every attack. He called upon allies from the Greek navy to blockade the city by sea, cutting off supplies and weakening Tyre's defenses. After 7 months, Alexander's persistence paid off. His forces breached Tyre's walls, capturing the city in a brutal assault. The siege of Tyre became legendary, showcasing Alexander's resolve and his ability to overcome formidable obstacles through innovative engineering and relentless determination. Chapter 4. The Decisive Charge at Gaugamela. In 331 BCE, Alexander faced Darius III in their final showdown at Gaugamela. Here, Darius had assembled the largest army ever seen, equipped with war elephants and chariots fitted with scythe-like blades designed to cut through infantry formations. The open plain seemed ideal for Darius's strategy, allowing him to deploy his forces without hindrance. But Alexander countered this with tactical brilliance. Knowing he needed to nullify the Persian chariots and elephants, Alexander ordered his phalanx to create small gaps, or lanes, within their lines. As the chariots charged, the Macedonian soldiers skillfully sidestepped, allowing the chariots to pass through harmlessly while dispatching the drivers. Meanwhile, Alexander held his cavalry in reserve, watching for an opportunity. When Darius shifted his forces to the right to exploit a perceived gap in the Macedonian line, Alexander led a calculated charge at the center of the Persian line, directly toward Darius. The sudden maneuver caught the Persians off guard, creating panic. Darius fled once again, abandoning his army and ceding the field to Alexander. Gaugamela was a decisive victory, not because of sheer force, but because of Alexander's ability to anticipate, adapt, and strike precisely where it would have the greatest impact. Chapter 5: Integration and Diplomacy in Persia. After conquering the heart of Persia, Alexander's strategy shifted from military dominance to cultural integration and diplomacy. Recognizing that an empire could not be sustained through force alone, he adopted Persian customs, dressed in Persian attire, and encouraged intermarriages between his officers and Persian nobility. Alexander himself married Roxana, a princess from the region of Bactria. By respecting and embracing local customs, Alexander aimed to win the loyalty of his new subjects, demonstrating that he was not merely a conqueror, but a ruler who valued their traditions. This policy of integration was unprecedented and created a lasting legacy, blending Greek and Persian culture and laying the foundation for the Hellenistic world. Chapter 6: Guerrilla Warfare in Central Asia. As Alexander advanced into the rugged territories of Central Asia, he encountered fierce resistance from local tribes who used guerrilla tactics. The mountainous terrain of Bactria and Sogdiana presented challenges that Alexander's traditional battle formations could not easily overcome. In response, Alexander adapted his strategy, splitting his forces into smaller units capable of moving swiftly and engaging the tribes in their own style of warfare. He set up fortified outposts known as garrisons to secure key locations and maintain supply lines. This flexible approach allowed him to systematically subdue the region, bringing these remote territories under his control. Chapter 7: Psychological Tactics in India. The Battle of Hydaspes. In 326 BCE, Alexander crossed into India, where he faced King Porus, a local ruler with a formidable army and war elephants, which were foreign and intimidating to the Macedonians. Recognizing the psychological impact these beasts could have, Alexander used the element of surprise. He carefully observed the Hydaspes River, which separated his forces from Porus's army, and waited until a powerful storm obscured visibility. Under cover of the storm, Alexander led a contingent of his army across the river, positioning himself to attack Porus's flank. The battle was intense, but Alexander's strategy succeeded. By maneuvering around the elephants and targeting Porus's infantry, he was able to neutralize the advantage of the elephants. After defeating Porus, Alexander treated him with respect, allowing him to retain his kingdom as a vassal. This act of diplomacy strengthened his influence in the region and showed his soldiers and allies alike that he valued loyalty and bravery. Chapter 8: Building an Empire Beyond the Battlefield. Alexander's strategy in Asia extended beyond military conquest. In every region he entered, he founded cities that would serve as administrative and cultural centers, with Alexandria in Egypt being the most famous. These cities were designed not only to secure Macedonian influence but also to foster cultural exchange. They became centers where Greek art, philosophy, and science mingled with local traditions, creating a legacy of cultural fusion that would endure long after Alexander's death. His policy of founding cities, integrating local elites, and promoting intermarriage helped stabilize the vast territories he conquered. His actions laid the foundation for the Hellenistic world, a realm where Greek and Eastern cultures coexisted and influenced one another, shaping the course of history. Chapter 9: Legacy of Strategy and Innovation. Alexander's strategies in Asia demonstrated not only his tactical prowess but also his adaptability, resilience, and visionary approach to empire building. He combined psychological warfare, tactical flexibility, siegecraft, and diplomacy to overcome challenges and secure his victories. By integrating local cultures into his empire, he paved the way for a new era, where ideas, art, and knowledge could flow freely across continents. Though his empire fractured after his death, the strategies and cultural policies Alexander employed reshaped the ancient world. His journey through Asia was more than a series of battles. It was a transformation that brought Greek influence to distant lands and blended it with diverse cultures, creating a lasting legacy that influenced the world for centuries to come. Through his strategies, Alexander proved that true conquest was not just about defeating armies but also about winning the hearts and minds of those he conquered. His epic journey through Asia remains a timeless lesson in leadership, vision, and the power of cultural integration.